a lot of confusion about one rank, one pension, and the one question that's asked often is, what's the hitch? If the government has made this promise, why is it not able to keep that promise? What are the concerns the Babus keep flagging? Let's take a look at that for a moment. What is it that's holding one rank, one pension back? The government is concerned that granting one rank, one pension in the way the servicemen want it will significantly bloat the government's pension bin. Remember, there are 24.5 lakh registered ex-servicemen. There are 13 lakh serving military personnel who will be ex-servicemen at one time, and the total cost in the initial period is expected to be about 8,300 crores. Now, this is a huge task, according to the government, to pass all benefits to all living servicemen. One of the other concerns is this could lead to a similar demand by other government employees. Paramilitary forces too could make this demand. Babus in the finance ministry have been saying that other government officials will start demanding this. But the reality is, and the reality that needs to be considered, is that in the Indian Army, most Jawans retire at the age of 35. That happens because you want a young, fighting, fit army, and therefore a lot of Jawans retire at the peak of their youth. They retire at 35, then they go back home. So remember, they get stuck with the same pension that they would have got at the time at which they retire. Whereas in the BSF, in the CRPF, in the CISF, you actually serve till the age of 60, which means you have the opportunity to go through many more pay commissions, and therefore the salary, the last salary of the Jawan from the BSF or the CRPF is currently much higher than the salary of the Indian Army Jawan who retires at the young age of 35. And that's the demand which the soldiers have been making. The government has accepted that demand, but it refuses to implement it. These are brave men who give up their lives defending our nation, and yet the Delhi police chooses to forcibly evict them. Joining us on the newsroom showdown tonight is Rajan Bhagat. He's the spokesperson for the Delhi police. With me in the studio is Colonel Anil Kaul. He's the spokesperson of the United Front of Ex-Servicemen. I want to go across to Rajan Bhagat first. Sir, they serve at Siachen, they serve at Tiger Hill and at Tololing at 18,000, 20,000 feet, and yet when they are protesting at Jantar Mantar, Delhi police officials come there and try and forcibly evict our brave army men, sir? Is this not an insult to the institution of the army and the sacrifice that our army men have made for our country?
We salute them, we respect them. In fact, there was some NDMC drive to clear all the places due to Independence Day. In that process, they were requested to move out, but there was no compulsion for them, and we have allowed them to continue, and there is no such issue, and they have been rehabilitated, and we are committed to provide them as whatever is Delhi police can do for their safety, security and other things. We are dedicated to them and we respect them.
Colonel Kaul, the Delhi police now says that because it's Independence Day, because there is a threat perception, everybody needs to be evicted. It's not just the army personnel who are protesting, everyone else who protests at Jantar Mantar too needs to go. And therefore they're saying that, you know, let the army officials and officers not make too big a deal about it. What happened with the army protesters is exactly what happened with the others. Do you think of that as an acceptable explanation, sir?
Rahul, even if it is question of their being removed, surely a notice could have been given that we are contemplating this, in which case we could have approached the right directions which have come subsequently, have come from the Minister of Home as well as from the Delhi Police Commissioner. What this gentleman is saying is quite right, that we've been allowed to carry on. But it could have been handled in a much more diplomatic and correct way. We are not there to be roughed up as any other gundas around this town. And frankly, I've been there for the last 60 days. On a daily basis. I don't think we have ever crossed the line. The red line is very clear: discipline, dedication and correctness. We have not crossed the line at all.
And Mr. Bhagat, that's what the Delhi police must answer to. Now, of course, there's a lot of contrition, there's a lot of damage control. The Minister of State has spoken to the police commissioner. He said allow the armed personnel to go back. Now, the reality is, why was this not done in a better planned fashion? Why was a notice for eviction not served? These are senior officers, generals, brigadiers, colonels, air marshals who've served this country for long. They could have been told, and of course they understand national security much better than anyone else, that because there's a security concern, could you move out for 48 hours, you can come back later. Why did the cops suddenly show up and start roughing up these officials, roughing up these officers and jawans? Is that not the wrong thing to have done?
In fact, this request should have been made, and they should have been requested, and whatever is there now, everyone has been asked. They can continue, not only senior army officials and other those who were there. They have, everyone has been allowed to carry on there, and there is no such thing which is going to be happen for them.
Rahul, my point is a little different to what he's saying. Now that it's by hindsight, yes, a lot of things happen. Who gave the instructions to the NDMC? Clear Jantar Mantar, in that they know that we have got permission to do this protest indefinitely. So they would have known that we are there. Somebody should have briefed the NDMC, and this...
Has there been a post-mortem analysis, Mr. Bhagat, about who gave these orders? Of course they knew that there were senior army officers protesting over there, and yet you decided to use the same force. The reality is there's been a turnaround because of the voltage of protest. But otherwise, the government's intention, the NDMC's intention and the police's instructions seem to have been clear. Hatao inko, hatao.
In fact, this drive is going on in the whole security, high security zone, and especially in New area. And in that process, this unfortunate incident, whatever is being said, has been happened, and therefore everyone has been now instructed that they will continue, and Delhi police is committed to provide anything, whatever best we can do. We will be with them.
Mr. Bhagat, is the Delhi police,
no
and are you as spokesperson of the Delhi police prepared to say sorry? Say sorry to all those armed personnel who serve currently along the line of control, along the international boundary, along the AGPL with China. Are you prepared to say sorry and apologize for the high-handed action of your force, sir?
Whatever considered wrong by anyone is, especially by respected persons, is definitely a wrong thing, and there is nothing in saying anything to defend that. That's why I am saying now everything, everyone has been asked to continue for that protest, and they will be given all whatever is required from Delhi police, and not only this respected
it shouldn't have happened, Mr. Bhagat, it shouldn't have happened, not in this country which has got a serving army of 13 million people, I mean 1.3 million people who are at your beck and call, from picking up prints from the well to fighting the very Chinese and the Pakistanis. It shouldn't have happened, simple as that. I am disappointed.
No one can appreciate such an act. Therefore, a conscious decision has been taken that no one will be asked to, even requested to move from there. They will continue as they are continuing.
Okay. It's good to see that at least the Delhi police is not mincing words in its apology. It's a very straightforward apology and a regret. Before I end, Colonel Kaul, are you hopeful that there will be an announcement when the Prime Minister speaks for the second time at the Lal Killa tomorrow morning, that OROP tomorrow by about this time will be a reality?
Rahul, if it happens, we will only be too glad, and we will celebrate. We will celebrate in the fact that this man has had the guts to overrule all these chaps who have been standing in the way. We will celebrate that he has had the gumption to pass orders directly to implement something which has been lying pending in a file in the in-tray for last, well,
and what happens
40 years.
If it doesn't get passed?
Disappointed, and we have a plan and action which will be revealed tomorrow.
Okay.
Or day after tomorrow.
A plan of action awaits the Prime Minister if OROP is not a reality by end of day tomorrow. I hope it doesn't come to that, and I hope that the one rank, one pension promise is implemented, because while the government can now say that there are practical problems, and yes there are, the question is, did the Prime Minister and the BJP not think those problems through before this promise was made? They won the votes of the ex-servicemen on the basis of this promise. They must now live up to that promise, and these problems that are being spoken of should have been thought through earlier. Rajan Bhagat, I'm glad that you came on the show, and I'm glad also that you very clearly apologize and regret it for what happened, and I hope this never happens again, because what you don't want ever is a situation where the armed police clashes with your army. That is most unfortunate and regrettable, and I'm very sorry it happened. Colonel Kaul, thank you very much. Let's see what the Prime Minister has in store for us tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bhagat.